Here we're going to solve linear equations that have fractions in them. So they look a little harder, but really what you need to do is just what we call clear the fraction. So here's an equation. It's got these fractions in here. So what we do is we find the LCD of the fractions in the problem, of all of them. So we've got a 2, a 6, and a 3. Well, the least common denominator of 2, 6, and 3 would be 6, right? Because it goes like this: 2, 4, 6, 2 goes into 6, 6 goes into 6, and 3 goes into 6. So the least common multiple or least common denominator, all three would be 6. So what I do now, in order to get rid of those denominators, is I actually use a rule. I go back to the rule of what we can do to equations. Remember, if we have A equals B, then I'm allowed to multiply by any number I want, right? A times C equals B times C, as long as I multiply by C on both sides, right? That's what I'm going to use here. I'm going to use this 6 though. And I'm going to multiply the left of this equal sign over here, every fraction, and every fraction by 6 on the right side. So I go 6 times, 6 times, and 6 times. You can write it before or after, it doesn't matter. And then I'm going to go through and reduce. So that's my times, just by writing like that, and then I reduce. 6 divided by 2, 3, and then I multiply. 3x. 6 divided by 6, which is 1, and then I multiply. 5. See, I'm doing the reducing first rather than the multiplying here. My multiply was just by writing the times 6. I'll do this first. 6 divided by 3 is 2, and then 2 times 2. Now look at, I used the rule over here that says I can multiply by anything I want, and I did. I chose 6, and I made such an easier equation now. I can go back and solve this quickly by subtracting 5, and then dividing by 3. So my solution here to this linear equation is x equals negative 1/3. Put negative 1/3 back in there for the x up there, and then divide by 2, add 5/6, you'll get 2/3. Okay, let's do another example. Alright, this one's a little different. My fraction has more than one thing in the numerator, look at that, right? And then there's one without a fraction, just a number, and there's a fraction. Well, if you have something like this 3x minus 1, what I want you to do is put parentheses around there. Because remember, division works like this. In a fraction form, I need to figure out 3 times x minus 1 first before I divide by 4, right? So I got to do all this first. So if I go like this, put my parentheses in, this will save a mistake later. You'll kind of see what I mean. And then we go ahead and say, okay, what's the LCD? 4, what's under here? A 1, right? Over 1. So 4, 1, and 6. 4, 1, and 6. So basically 4 and 6. What's the first number they go into? Well, they go into 24, but that's not the first, right? The first would be 12. So my LCD is 12. So I go back over here, multiply the left side by 12. Now each fraction gets multiplied by 12. That's one fraction. Look at this 2. Is that a fraction? Yes, it is. It's 2 over 1. So you need to multiply it by 12. Everything on the left. And then on the right. Now we're going to go through and reduce. Reduce first. Do not multiply the 12 in. Reduce first. Do the 12 divided by 4 to get 3. Now, this is why I had you put this parentheses in, right? Because look at, now it should be 3 times everything in the numerator. So write that down over here, 3 times the numerator. The mistake a lot of people will make is this, 3 times 3x minus 1. Now look at the difference. If you didn't have those parentheses in, you would have this. That's wrong, because I'm going to get 9x minus 1, right? Look, but over here I'm going to get 9x minus 3. The 3 needs to be distributed. So that's why you need to put a parenthesis in there to save a mistake there. Okay. Now let's go back up here and continue. We've got 12 times 12. There's nothing to reduce, so we just write it. 24. equals, over here something will reduce, the 12 and the 6. Do that first. Don't multiply first just because it gets a bigger number. It's easier to reduce this. 12 divided by 6 makes 2. And then do the 5 times 2, 10. Okay, so now we have a pretty basic linear equation. We just got to go through here and distribute and get 9x minus 3 plus 24 equals 10. Combine like terms, 9x plus 21 equals 10. Go ahead and subtract that 21 on both sides. 9x equals, what do I have, negative 11. Last step, divide by 9. Here we go, x equals negative 11 ninths is my solution then. So if you put that back up in for x, this whole side will equal 5/6 after you compute it out. Now, important steps here that I showed you, parentheses in first, multiply every fraction by the LCD to reduce first. Here's one for you to try. So pause the video and see if you can do what I just did up there and solve for the variable x. I'll do it in one moment. Okay, so you should be back here. Hopefully you did it. The LCD, right? Between 5, 10, and 1. Well, that's just 10, right? 10 goes into both of those. Or 5 will go into 10, and 10 will go into 10. Look at this. Parenthesis, 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 parenthesis. We should put those in there. Okay? Go ahead and multiply by the LCD then. 10, 10, 10, even that 2. Every fraction gets 10. Now go through and reduce. 10 divided by 5 is 2. Then I write 2 times x minus 3. 10 divided by 10 is 1, so 2x plus 1. Parentheses weren't needed here. Parentheses were needed there. Minus 2 times 10. Okay, then we have just a linear equation. It's pretty easy to solve. Distribute that 2x minus 6. Over on the right side, let's add the 1 and negative 20. Okay, then we continue down here and subtract 2x on both sides. And we get negative 6 equals negative 19. Well, do you remember what that kind of means? My x's fell out, so this is telling me that there's actually no solution to this problem. So even though we went through this and you got to here, it's important to recognize if you keep doing the same things, don't get stuck, do what you're supposed to do, subtract 2x, and you get to this problem and that's untrue, right? This is not true. So, no x's are left, you have no solution.